And thank you very much. Again, my name is Vernell Taylor. I'm with Union Bank, and I'm with the Corporate Social Responsibility, where we manage student-run branches. I manage the 6 branches. We've been around for 10 years. We have 6 branches that we support, and we're teaching our youth financial education, leadership skills, work ethics, and just developing our students. And the number one is financial education. We have hired over 41 students in our program. Right now, we have 9 officers, 5 are branch managers, 3 are branch service sales officers, and 1 is a project manager. So we're doing a lot of things in the community, giving back to the community, and importantly is giving back, supporting our small businesses and nonprofits, and developing relationships in the community. And I also have Caroline Gomez. Caroline Gomez, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and share what you do.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Again, just like Roberta said, I'm Carolina Gomez. I'm the branch manager of the Crenshaw High School student-run branch. I mentor 12 student interns during their senior year. And yeah, just like she said, we prioritize financial literacy because it's very important, but we also teach them work ethic and leadership skills. So teach them how to do these types of presentations, and they go around campus to give back to their peers, right? The financial literacy piece. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with Vernell once again, teaching all of you financial literacy as well.
Thank you, Caroline. Very good. So I used to manage the Crenshaw High School branch. So Carolina has taken over as I'm managing all 6 branches. So thank you, Caroline, for what you do, what we're doing in the community. We got to get hold to those students, and sometimes it can be challenging. So we need the people out here to support, and we have to teach the importance of financial education, number 1, about your money. So today we're going to talk about, again, managing income, expenses, and budgeting.
Testing.
Yes, was there a question before we keep moving? Okay, I gotta make sure, let me make sure I have everybody on mute, so we can avoid that distraction. Let me look at it. Let's see, mute. Yeah, it looks like everybody's on mute. All right, great. Okay, so go ahead and go into the next slide.
Right, we're gonna kick off the presentation. Thank you so much, Vernell. So here's some of objectives that we're going to be covering throughout the presentation. The first section is understanding your income and identifying ways to decrease your spending and increase your income. Section 2 is going to be talking about understanding the expenses and how can we track daily spending, and by tracking them, you'll be able to identify your habits. And section 3, it's going to be discussing how to prepare your personal spending plan and how to create a budget for a monthly, doing your monthly income and expenses on a sheet. And then we will also let you know identifying different types of tools that you can use to actually start doing your budget.
Caroline, I have a quick question.
Yes,
just
ma'am.
really quick. I'm sorry. So slides, I hope I prepare myself. I have 2 to 5, 10 to 12, 16, 18, 23 to 25, and 29, 30. Is that correct, or is that yours?
Those were mine.
Oh.
But that's fine. You can go ahead and take those. I can go do the rest.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All righty, Caroline. Thank you very much for covering slide. That was slide 2, correct?
Correct.
All righty. Okay. So as Caroline, as Caroline had mentioned, that some of the objectives we'll be covering, so you will be learning those various topics. So number 1 here is section 1 is income. Income is the primary, how we're going to get started here to talk about your money. Have the very importance about income. Next slide. So what is income? So there are various types of income, but income is it's money that's actually that what you earn from a job where you're paid an hourly rate or you complete a certain task or salary similar to wages. This is money to you. So this for individuals and business, income generally means the value of amount that they receive for their labor and products. Individuals generally consider their gross income to equal the total of their earnings in the form of wages and salaries. So the return on their investments and sales of property and other recipients. Example, if income is $90,000 a year, salary gross income minus your deductions, you're permitted by the Internal Revenue. There's certain codes, so you just want to know the understanding of what your deductions are minus your deductions, what will be net to you after gross pay. Alrighty, and the types of income that are, for an example, income again is from salary, from house property income, from businesses, maybe property profit, income from investments, capital assets, and income from other sources. And as here, as on the picture, it mentions earned income, wages from job, as I mentioned, public benefits, where you're receiving benefits, that is considered income as well. Any allowances that are given since our youth have allowances as well. And there's other income if you have a side hustle or anything else, that's still considered income. Next slide. Alrighty, I'll hand it over to Caroline. She's going to cover gross and net income.
Okay, thank you, Vernell. Just how Vernell was mentioning about net and gross income, so it's important to know what and how we're receiving our money, right? So what's gross income? That is the total amount of money that you get without any deductions. So when you look at your pay stub, you will see that amount, but then you will see all deductions coming out, and it will be known as the net income. So you get the gross income minus deductions, what you save, share, and spend, and then you take home. So there's the equation: gross income minus deduction, net income. So the higher the money that you withheld in your like for your tax purposes, that means that your net income is going to be less. If you withheld a little bit, more, less, then your deductions are going to be a lot lower, meaning your net income is going to be more. Let me go to the slide, which will give you. Doesn't have it here. The next, in the future slides, we're going to see actually a payment stub, which will show you how the deductions look. Have it right in the next couple of slides. Just like was the very type of income you get, you get it in form of cash, in check, direct deposit, card, or benefits transfer. So most popular is the deposit, and we recommend it, right? It's safe. It leaves clutter receiving those checks, payment stubs. You can get payments online, and you just have your money going into your account. And we'll sell something like a yard sale, right? Or if you, if you do like you sell your car, they can give you part check, part cash, depending how you want to negotiate it. Sometimes if you just have deposit into your account. Employers have that option to give you your paycheck on a card. So those work similar to the prepaid card that we mentioned in the previous presentation. We're talking about savings and the toss some prepaid cards. They work very similar. But it depends on employers that.
Caroline,
The
you're
type
going a
benefit
little
transfer
bit,
is something like security benefits. Sorry, what was that?
your frequency is a little bit slow, just FYI, apologize for the interruption. Just want to let you know.
Turn off my camera.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this already off too. Let me turn off the camera to see if this goes smoother. Thank you, Vernell.
you're welcome.
Okay, here's the slide I was talking about. So this is the slide, understanding your payment, right? So this one, it gives you the information that you have. So it has your personal information, which is your name, might have your address, your social security number. It gives you the pay period and then pay date, the gross pay, the deductions, net pay, and then any employer contributions. So understanding your pay statement is very important because you want to make sure that you're getting paid accurately, right? You don't want to be short at the term. You work so many hours, you want to make sure that you're being paid for those amount of hours, because it could be errors, right? So that's why it's very important to understand how to read your payment stuff. Not only that, you know how much they're taking out, because you have that opportunity to actually ask your employer to maybe withhold a little bit less because you need more net income coming back home. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make
Go to the
sense.
next slide. Thank you. These are the types of required deductions. So the first one is a Social Security number, which is also called FICA, Federal Insurance Contribution Act. And those benefits include retirement, disability, Medicare, or other. And we have the income tax, which is federal, state, and local. Those are required by law. And the elective voluntary deductions is if you have insurance, right? If your employer is paying partial of the insurance, or you're paying the other part, it's going to show on your pay stub that you're doing your premium payment through the deductions. And it shows right there that that's voluntary, but you signed up for it. Any union dues, if your employer offers union. Retirement account contributions. So if you have a 401k, for example, you will see the deductions coming out of your check. Charitable contributions. So if you donate to a nonprofit organization, you can add that to your deductions. And also direct deposit. This is the formula.
Yes.
This is your slide for now. So go ahead
Yes,
and
thank you,
take
Carolina.
over.
Thank you very much for covering that. And yes, and deductions are very important. And also, we're not a tax advisor. We'll talk about some of the basics here, but understanding the income tax withholding, that Internal Revenue Service Form W-2, that is the amount of federal income that is tax withheld from your paycheck. So, here, you can have additional withholding, you can reduce the withholding, you can lower it by, that would be, when you add, that will be lower take-home pay versus when you reduce the withholding, it's a higher take-home pay. So the money that employer deducts from an employee, employer deducts from employee gross income, and it pays directly to the government. So have the understanding, what are the right withholdings that you should be reporting so you can have the equivalent amount of money paid to you. So be careful not to have too little withheld, and because you'll probably end up owing at the end of the year. and seek guidance from your tax professional. I can remember in my younger years when I was doing my taxes and not knowing a lot of things. So I made the wrong decisions and I ended up owing so much in the taxes. I paid it off over a period of time, become more knowledgeable, but I was actually dealing with tax advisors not giving me the best advice. So you want to make sure you go to someone credible, have an understanding. They're not in it just for the money. They're also there to support you. So getting the special guidance from a tax professional is very important. You know, getting and handling your money, especially when you start having your own business and earning more money. You want to make sure it's properly, you know, your withholdings are properly notated for your take-home pay. So have an understanding, because it has a lot to do with your monies as far as owing at the end of the year, or you can get it before. You know, some folks want the money right before, you know, they want that money, they want their money before the end of the year. So you won't really get much at the end of the year. You get it, you know, throughout the year. So, you know, talk to your tax advisor about that. So that's very important. Next slide. Here's a scenario. We've not necessarily cover this scenario, but here, well, I'll say not necessarily cover, but we won't do the exercise, but I will pretty much talk about it, about the scenario. So here we have Janice, she's reading, she wants to understand her pay statement. So especially when we talk to our youth, so they have an understanding about when they get paid and start working, they want to understand those statements, what they receive. So Janice here, she's been working for SJ Corporation for 8 months. And this job has investment opportunity, but her hours change each week. And she may work 40 hours one week and only 20 hours the next week. So she hasn't always paid attention to her statement, but wants to understand it. So again, you always want to make sure you understand your statement, what's coming out of your paycheck. So, you know, during the pay period, understand the pay period, the pay date, to make sure everything is correct as far as your name and everything that's reported to Internal Revenue. That's very important. And your hourly wage, that Southern thing, I can't get it out, hourly wage, and your number of hours is very important. So the hours that you work, you want to make sure that you are paid for the hours you work. So how much did you earn for that pay period? How much take-home pay does Janice or yourself may have for that period? You want to make sure you understand. And how much has the company paid in benefits for yourself, including, not including your salary. So, and how much withholding was taken out of from federal income tax for the year. Having that understanding as well when you read it, and you know, study and make sure you understand if you have to make some adjustments, talk to your HR or in your Internal Revenue or your tax advisor. So that's just an exercise that we would do when we actually are in person, and it gives an opportunity to read this statement and jot down some of the things on the worksheet where you, if it was your own pay statement, how that will apply to you. Next slide. And 12, how are you being paid? So if you receive your W-2 form, your tax form shows important information about the income you earn from your employer, amount of taxes withheld from your paycheck. Again, we talk about that, the benefits provided and other information for the year. So your W-2 is an employee. Your employer is considered as an employee. For the 1099 miscellaneous, if you're self-employed, that form will be utilized. So you want to understand how you are paid. You want to you may have to pay taxes yourself. So have that understanding. Consider putting your money aside for the future if you are going to have to pay taxes at the end of the year. Keep accurate records as well. That's very important. And again, I reiterate, you want to seek guidance from the tax professional. So for independent contract, self-employed, again, that form is used for compensation such as rents, prizes, awards, or medical, or any healthcare payments and payments that maybe you make to an attorney. So I've done a little research and have a little understanding. Until 2020, now I'm not a tax advisor, just some notes that I pulled up. It was also the 1099 miscellaneous up until 2020. It was also used for the report the income of taxpayers who are not employees, such as independent contractors, freelancers, sole proprietors, and self-employed individuals. And that was something I didn't know, but obviously when you do your research and you're learning a lot of things as far as financial education is very important. But taxpayer would receive a form, a 1099 miscellaneous, if you paid, for instance, also be paid $10 or more, or receive $10 or more in interest, or if you made $600 or more in any other income or types of miscellaneous royalties. So that's in one calendar year. So have the understanding what these forms are used for and how it works and how are you paid. So that's very important, especially if you're a entrepreneur or small business owner. Very important. And next slide, we'll turn that over to Carolina. Thank you, Carolina.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. We didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of lost the audio here, and I was like, "What?" Okay, good thing you can hear me now. No, technology, right, guys? All right, so we're gonna move on to this next slide. This one is tracking your income. So just like understanding how you're getting paid, now comes the tracking, right? Tracking is very important because you want to know where your money is going. You have regular income, which is like from an employer, right? Unpredictable income can be something like an additional job, um, seasonal income. That's like if you get a summer job. So summer during the winter, they're categorized differently. Or one-time income, like I said, if you have something that you want to just get rid of, you sell it and you get your payment for that. That's a one-time income. Okay, we're gonna move on to if you receive public benefits. This one, this is a type of income, correct? So if you do receive your public benefits, you want to know what your limits are for the amount of money that you can keep in the account. We briefly mentioned this on our previous presentation as well. If you go to the website of the benefit that you're receiving, they should have the resources there so that you know exactly how much you should be able to keep in your bank accounts. So to help you have that savings, right? And then you want to treat it like a bank account. You have to monitor the spending, right? Because that can affect also the amount that you're receiving. And just like it says there, seek advice from your public benefit advisors. They will know best. That's their line of business. So seek guidance from them if you have any questions in regards to what are the limits, what resources are out there, and how can you better manage your money or monitor your benefits. We're going to move on to section 2, which is now going into expenses. So understanding the expenses will help you decide how to save, share, and spend your income. Okay, this one, I'll turn it over to Vernell to talk about my favorite slide.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Carolina, thank you. You can intervene as well if you like. This, something that I missed. I appreciate it. Yeah, think about how you use your money. Now, really think about how you use your money. Are you saving it? Are you sharing it? Are you spending it? You want to take the opportunity. Your time is worth more than money. So every minute is precious. I just want to kind of share and understand your worth. We don't want to waste any time. We don't want to waste any of our money. So money is a tool. So how you save your money is very important. For instance, are you giving it away? How are you saving it? Are you earning a great interest on your money? With your money working for you? Are you working for it? And definitely you want your money to work for you. That's very important. Are you sharing it? Sharing your money for others? Are you giving to charity? Are you making your tithes? Are you that money is given for a great purpose is also important. How are you sharing your money? Teaching your children how to save as well is very important while they're young, because now we're building generational wealth and we want to keep the money in the family. So we're sharing within the family wealth, very important. You're spending your money. How are you spending your money? You're giving it away? Are you spending it where it kind of makes sense? You never want to believe you don't have enough money. This is like starting in that hole, like you never recover, you're never recovering no matter how hard you work. So you want to change your mindset. You want to be the first step is working towards that abundance, as I mentioned, generation wealth. You still have to work hard at it, but you do with the mindset that you will have enough money. So the key is, how you using your money and how you getting that return. So it's very important to set yourself up where you're going to do well and your money is going to work for you. So that's very important. Caroline, you want to add anything to that? Because you said this is your favorite slide, so I'm not sure. Maybe you want to add something else that would be valuable to the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Vernell. Of course. No, yeah, I was just saying that this is my favorite slide because it does give me thinking, right? Because I also, we're all managing our own money, but it's just, I love it because just looking at the picture and what it says there, right? Are you saving it, sharing it, or spending it? It really does get thinking, how are you? So just like Vernell said, you have to have that mindset. It's your money, you're working for money. So we gotta make sure that we how can I say this? That we manage our own finances, right? How are we saving it? For what reasons, right? We want to make sure we have that clear. And so yeah, this is my favorite stuff because it get me thinking. It helps us start creating a budget. So I encourage all of you to maybe take a screenshot of this and ask yourselves, how am I doing this? Should I do? How should I save a little bit here, a little bit more there? Am I sharing too much? Maybe I share more. And spending is the very tricky one because it's very easy to spend, but we can think about how we're spending it. Is there ways for us to save more money? So yeah, that's what I wanted to add. I love this slide.
Thank you, Carolina. Appreciate it. Go ahead and move into the next slide. Ways to think about expenses. in order to, in order to purchasing your items, you must be able to identify whether the item is a need or want. And we talked about this in our previous session webinar last week about wants and needs. And I brought up some great tips about the 50 to 30, 20 rule. But a need is something you cannot do without, right? And one is something you want to have. For instance, if you need a car, but it does not need to be a new car, so that car is that car that you really want. So, we may not can get a new car right now. We can get a new car, and now there we go with that mindset. We can get a new car, but right now, can you really afford that Maserati? Well, well, maybe you might not be a wise choice right now because you want to make sure you paying for that mortgage, that rent, having the necessities first. And now, when you're building your money, you might want to get it. But is that a wise choice? Does that really make sense in your expenses right now? So, we want to always distinguish the wants and needs. That's right up top. Of course, paying yourself first, and we'll talk a little bit about later when we go into the budgeting sheet. But there's just things that we want to make sure our obligations, our debts that you owe, we want to make sure those are handled, and we're ready for unexpected expenses, because things happen. Life just happened, and we have to be prepared. It can set us back for a little bit. However, if we're proactive and we put that money away for those emergencies, we can easily pay for it and not have to go get expensive cost interest loan or sell something. Maybe you have something valuable you want to sell and you just have to, like I said, life happens. But preparing for ourselves for these situations are very important. So, sit down at the table. As you can see, the couple there at the table, they're covering their expenses. They don't have the children there, but they probably need to add the children shopping. But and then the lady there, she's probably want to buy some new shoes, whatever the case may be. But have the understanding about your wants and needs. That's very important. Ways to think about your expenses and put you in the right situation as far as wants and needs. Next slide. Tracking your expenses. I just talked about your wants and needs. You tracking your expenses. How often do you plan your expenses? Often, never, or sometime. Sometimes we go in the store and it's spontaneous. Sometimes we get caught up. You just want to be conscious when we're spending our money. You're going to track your expenses. So creating a spending plan to manage your income and expenses will make saving easier and help you avoid those financial stress. Yeah, you may be upset, whatever the case may be, and you want to go out shopping, but later on you're really stressed out because why did I spend all this money? Or you weren't conscious then. So they say don't go to the market when you're hungry, don't go places when you're angry or certain things, because it's just out of spontaneous. We're doing things on emotions. So, that's the time you just want to set some time, have a deep breath and have some quiet time before you make that move, because we don't want to make the silly move. And then we regret it later. So tracking your expenses, you want to avoid that financial stress. And the key is to track your money, track your spending, so you do not overspend technically. You don't want to overspend what's coming in. So tracking is very important. We will be talking more about tracking in that budgeting as well, how you're going to incorporate that in your budget moving forward. So next slide, we'll turn it over to Carolina. Ways to decrease your spending. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vernell. So yes, ways to decrease your spending. So here are some tips on how you can save more money. Carrying small amounts of cash helps you definitely spend less. I remember when I used to carry cash, it was so easy to spend because it's there, you're seeing it, it's, you know, it's flexible, right? You can just get it and spend it. So I transitioned to debit card and carrying almost minimal of cash. And I learned that I save that way. Because if I have cash, I don't know, it's just a habit that I identify when I started doing these, you know, these budgeting exercises myself and thinking how I'm spending my money. I realized that if I have money, I'm just gonna spend it. And to condition myself, I just transitioned to just carrying for an emergency situation, no more than like 20 bucks and everything else on my debit card. So like that, I'm able to manage it a little bit more. So carrying less amount of cash, it definitely worked for me. And like that, you don't spend it as much. Using direct deposit for your paycheck is a really good one too, because you're not seeing that physical check and you don't have the temptation of like, oh my gosh, I made so much money. This is, I'm going to spend it, or, you know, I have this pocket that I can do for anything, right? For anything that you want to spend on. So by you not seeing it, you're like, okay, I know I got paid. And obviously we want to make sure, just that we mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we're getting paid appropriately and the amount of hours correctly and the amount of base pay, right? We still got to know how much we're getting paid, how much we're going to receive. But it does help spend less because it's going straight into your account and you're managing it with your debit card. Control the use of your credit cards. Again, that's like managing your own personal account. Because you know, you use credit cards, you're gonna spend more, right? Because you're gonna pay the additional interest. So by having that control and that you condition yourself not to overspend on your credit because you know you're going to spend more, that helps you decrease some spending. Don't go shopping for fun, just like Vernell was saying. You don't want to, you know, just shop and purchase, you know, silly things or um, just just for fun, right? It's just gonna get you into either more debt, you use your credit cards, or you're gonna, you know, spend more. So don't go shopping just for fun. I would, you know, go shopping for a need. For example, you need groceries, go shopping for groceries. Or if you have a, you know, a new job interview, I know you're gonna need maybe a good, nice, presentable outfit. That's a need, right? You want to look very presentable to your interview, but just for needs. That's not for fun. Use coupons. That's a really good one. Is it by using the coupons you save money. Um, and then I already mentioned just buy what you need. Pay your bills on time to avoid late fees. That's a very good one as well because late fees accumulate and you get penalized, right? If you, aside of the late fee, you could probably get penalized for trying to reactivate the services if they got canceled. And I'm going to go to the next slide. On this scenario that we see here, Juan Carlo is reviewing his expenses, right, and his income. So what he is going to try to do is to create a payment calendar. So he wants to be able to see it. So this is something that's recommended, and you'll see on the next upcoming slides. If you write it down, jot it down on a calendar, or your either on your, what is it called? You put it up on your fridge or in your room. You have your sticky notes. You know what's coming out of your account, or if you set up alerts from your bank, you have that on a monthly basis. You set that up for yourself and you'll be able to see it. So on this scenario, Juan Carlos trying to know how much bills are coming out. So he starts to create a monthly calendar. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. And this is what the monthly calendar looks like. So the day of the month, on Friday, for example, first of the month, you know, rent is due, right? He writes down how much the rent is for. Next week, he knows he's going to have a personal expense on Tuesday. Following week, we have expense for $6, which is gas and any car maintenance that he needs to do. And then additional, on Friday the same week, he spent $10 on a credit card. So he, outside of his own personal account, he used all from his credit card. And then you can see at the bottom on the 23rd, he used $40 for entertainment. Vernell, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so the monthly calendar is great, to utilize. And I just want to remind the audience as well, the monthly calendar as well, because we do forget. But because technology and digital is huge right now, and a lot of folks may not use a manual system, but manual system is always good, because when the system go down, as we dealing with digital errors like I have been doing all day, we want to make sure we understand that manual. However, we want to make sure that we also can use that online banking to manage your expenses online. They have that opportunity also that's online. Even the mobile app, there are opportunities where you can use your mobile app and maybe the calendar as well. Even your telephone banking as well. So those are some of the other tools you can use in addition to a monthly calendar as well. So I just want to kind of share that, because technology is like at the tip of their finger, especially our youth, because they're not going to write on a piece of paper, but they can share with their parents. So maybe, some of the elders in the family have understanding using that monthly calendar, but that reminder is in your phone. Thank you. I just want to add that.
Right. Thank you. As you say, the manual part is a good idea, because it also gets you, it's an eye opener on how you're spending. So for example, if you want to know what you literally spend the entire month, you can just kind of think, last month, just put it down so you can make adjustments for the next month. Or let's say if you want to, start fresh, start this month or the beginning of May, right? So I just start jotting down, and at the end of the month, you're going to see how your spending habits are. So definitely online banking and mobile banking can support you. There's different apps also on your app store that can help you with budgeting tools such as a payment calendar and alerts. So definitely leverage those, but having the experience of you writing it down, and it's going to be a huge eye opener. So I encourage you to try it out so that you can see how you're spending your money, how many bills are coming out on a monthly basis, and you may the next month that's coming up so that you can pay yourself a little bit more, have more savings. All right, so here is managing your expenses. So by doing these activities, right, with that monthly calendar or setting those alerts, you're managing your expenses, and it helps you avoid fees, overdraft fees if your account goes, negative, interest on credit cards if you left that balance roll over to next month, negative credit history if you're late in your credit card payments, right? You're gonna have those negative credit history, and you don't want that, right? Because then your interest rate goes up, or then later you'll be able to qualify for the best interest rate or a credit at all. Loss of services, for example, you didn't pay your water bill, light bill, gas bill, you lost those services. Now you're going to have to pay those additional charges to recover those services that you lost. So by having that monthly calendar, and like I said, it's a huge eye opener. You will be able to manage your expenses a lot more wisely and avoid any additional fees. All right, I'll turn it over to Vernell, which is gonna start covering section 3, which is the budgeting basics.
Yes, thank you, Carolina. Carolina covered the managing your expenses, very important. Now let's talk about budgeting your money. You're managing, now that's go into the budgeting section. We want to know the basic of budgeting. So budgeting is a process calculating how much money you must earn or save during a particular time or period, and of planning of planning. You will spend it. So you will, oh my God, my words all mixed up. But anyway, yes, so this budget is this plan. You want to plan how to, this is a planning process. It's a tool that you want to utilize, and it's called budgeting. So it's important that you set this plan of where your money is going, how it's coming in. You want to make better choices to spend and save. And it's important to financial security and peace of mind, as I mentioned earlier, that financial stress, gets to it, you just scattered. So let's get organized. Put your money in a budget situation where you know where your money is going, it's coming in, it's coming out, and hopefully you have something left over where you can put in the savings. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, it's important to teach our kids about budgeting so they can learn to spend and save as well. It's not just for the adults, it's also for the entire family. So I just want to add that that's very important. So we all can have that security and peace of mind for the family. Again, teaching financial education and building that generation wealth starts from the basics, and that's building over a period of time. So that's set a plan for meeting those expenses and making sure that we pay on time, build that credit score, build that savings account. That money's left over, go back into the savings. If you don't spend it, you have some money left over. It's not, it could be extra, but that's put into a savings account where it can grow more the next month. Is building on top of money on top of money. Having that mindset, creating those habits makes a huge difference. So that part of that budgeting is planning altogether. Kids, we have birthdays, holidays, you want special clothes. It's not like you can't afford it. It's what you're thinking, your mindset, how we're planning to get to that point where we can spend. Next slide. Why budget? Well, it's your money. You want to budget, and it's important. You want to budget. You want to take it serious. This is your money. So take control of your finances. It's very important. A budget helps you create financial stability by tracking your expenses and following a plan, as I mentioned. A budget makes it easier to pay bills and bills on time, and it builds an emergency fund. And it's saved for, you could save for major expenses, as I mentioned earlier. Some of this kind of, we're repeating it, but this is reiterating, we're changing that mindset. You got to keep this going over and over again. So it's just like, get on the bike, I got this. So that wants and needs, and you want to make sure you save for those major expenses for a car or a home. Those are major expenses. Having an understanding, how are we going to maintain it? How are we going to build more? We may not can get a new car then, or maybe you're buying a home. I wouldn't buy a car first. I would get my home. That's my choice. And I think that's the best choice, having an understanding so we can sacrifice because we're building more wealth within. Just want to slide that in there. And it puts you in control of your money. So you want to control your money. Very important. And for an example, the way we teach our students at the high school, they have proms, they have special events. So with their prom packages, $300 or $250, they might have to we teach them, let's come and open up an account at the high school. Hey kids, come and open your account. We got these senior packages, special senior expenses, or just expenses going on, period. So, maybe you have to save $30, $40 a month, the equivalent to pay for that prom package, $300 and $250. That number looks big, but let's make it simple. Let's break it down. What is going to cost you monthly? Is it going to cost weekly? Kids have talent. They braid hair. They know how to hustle. Believe me, they be hustling on the school ground. And I'll bring that money to the branch, open up their savings. They got money, but they're just not spending it wisely. So, they know how to do it. So, if you have, if this kids, you know, they going to college, they have internet, it's gonna cost them $120. Well, that's put $30 a month. So you know for sure you're gonna be able to pay that bill, for an example. Or if you have groceries, they have a grocery bill and you average it out, it's $1,200 a month, estimating. I don't know what it's, you know, that sounds like a lot of food, but it gets really high. So we're gonna start saving that money, you know, a monthly. That's very important. So just want to share that, you know, as far as why budget. Well, we need to make sure we cover those expenses, those unexpected and surprises, develop a good habit versus a bad habit, and importantly, save for retirement. That's another very important thing. You're never too young to start saving for retirement. I believe if I've known what I know now, I'll be retired now. So it's important, have that key, because we don't want to live on Social Security. They ain't gonna pay you nothing. Seeing those customers coming in, cashing those checks, paying a high cable, they got nothing left over stretched for the next 30 days. So think about the future and what you need to do and make sure you save your money. So that's a why budget. Why should you budget? There you go. Next slide.
All right, here's the way of how to create a budget. So there's the 4-step to preparing a budget. First one, tracking. Keep track of the daily spending. You could do it daily, monthly, however you decide, right? Number 2, it says determine your monthly income and expenses. So just like I was mentioning earlier, you can try to do this the month before, like just think about option and jot it down. And like that, you know what's going to happen. It's like it gives you what's going to happen next month, right? Or the month that you're in currently. Number 3, find ways to decrease your spending. So always consider your needs versus your wants. And again, all those little how can I say this? The tips that we gave you earlier, carry less cash, try not to get all happy for a large check or a bonus that you got and then go out and spend for fun, right? So just consider all those tips that we gave earlier to decrease your spending. And then number 4, ways to increase your income. Find a second job, or if you have stuff that you want to sell that is still in good condition, do a yard sale, right? And sell it and get some money for that. And as you're preparing this budget, you can revise it as you go. It doesn't have to be the same every single month. You're revising it because, again, you're identifying different habits that you have, and it could be less or could be more depending. So yeah, always be adjustable. This is how you do a budget. So here is says, help, I cannot pay my bills. What's going to happen? So we want to prioritize how we manage our money. Pay your rent, where you live, your house, right? You want to make sure that you have a roof over your head. That's very important. That's a need, right? We need to have that. Necessary expenses such as your utilities and your food. So that's also a need, right? Pay off loans that have the highest interest rate. Why? Because you save money. And then talk to your creditors if you have a high balance. And let's say you want to maybe start a plan to pay off in smaller amounts, just so that it'd be more comfortable for your budget. You can do that. Talk to your creditors and see how they can work things out. But definitely put the needs versus your wants first. So like that, you'll be stress-free when it comes to dealing with your finances. Here are some planning tools that you can utilize that we were mentioning earlier: the monthly payment calendar, monthly payment schedule, computer budgeting planning tools that you can either download on your computer or using your mobile banking or mobile app. Those are tools that are there for you to support you and pretty much give you access wherever you have. You could do it manually, like we said, either on your board, sticky notes on your fridge, or that monthly calendar, or having it on your computer or personal device.
Thank you. I know we're running out of time. It's almost 7 o'clock. We're going to try to go as
Right.
quick as it can. If there are any questions, we'll give an opportunity. Hopefully get consent that we can go a little bit longer, team. It's okay with you. We're almost done, actually. So again, budgeting sheet, this is just a quick snapshot of a budget sheet. It's simple. It talks about your income and your expenses. This is a basic budget sheet. So you want to add up all your income and add up all your expenses, and you're going to manage your bills, review your spending, identify ways to save, and your purchase items. And again, you may want to go on vacation, or you want to do something special for the family, or activities you invest. So setting up this simple budget sheet is give you a picture. Next slide. Again, the monthly budget worksheet. This is just a breakdown, an example when it has the basic budget sheet. It has your income source. So you want to include all the expenses on here. I have an example, even bonus, overtime, child support, if there are any, tax refund. Include all your income. As far as the expenses, you would include the mortgage or rent, your utilities, internet, all that, and then pay yourself. Put that on their expense. Pay yourself. I'll put that on the top of it. Well, you want to make sure you got your mortgage and rent, but that category, paying yourself first, is important as well. At least 10 to 15%, and include that in your expenses. I'm going to highlight that. It's in red. Include it. So you want to make sure you pay yourself first. If you have anything left over and minus your income expenses, what are you going to do with it? You're going to put into your savings account. Very important. Put that money into the savings account and do the same thing over the next month. So this is just a snapshot of your monthly budget. They have plenty of these. I went to a local library. They actually have them on the counter. If you can't download one, or whatever the case may be, use your library. There's a lot of resources there, and they have budget sheets. I was like, how cool is that? So you can take copies, whatever, if you're not a digital person, but take some of these things and practice and create that budget and create that habit. And we'll be making some money. We go on vacation, join the chamber, we'll do some stuff. Yes. All righty, next slide. Thank you.
All right, so here's the key takeaways that we just covered. So section 1, we covered income. Understanding your income, that is the first step to using it to meet your needs. So how much am I getting, right? How much do I have to spend, or how much do I have to save? Section 2, expenses. Understand your expenses. That will help you decide how to save, share, and spend your income. And last but not least, the budgeting. Section 3, budgeting is essential because it can help you begin to establish a positive financial growth and reach your savings goals. That's your 3 sections and key takeaways. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much. And do we have any questions? Maybe anybody can want to share if they already have some existing budgeting tools that they can share with the rest of us. That'd be great. So please feel free to unmute yourself or put it on the chat.
I know we don't have any shy folks on this webinar. I know it's 7 o'clock, but any questions or anything, come on out. And by the way, tomorrow we will be having the finance team will have another webinar, and they're going to cover budget. And Tyler's on this call, and he's going to give some simulations on budgeting. So make sure you join as well, because this is a visual. Now you probably see it actually in action.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
not sure if I'm telling too much, but anyway, this FYI, the budgeting part. We have a hand raised and looks like it's by Opa. Opa, go ahead with your question, please.
I don't really have a question. I just think you guys did an awesome presentation. This is something that's so much needed. And great to see most of our team members on here tonight. Just great. You guys did an awesome job. I thank you.
Thank you, Opa.
Thank you for being present. I appreciate it. And for the rest of the members and guests for being present. I really appreciate it.
Lots of good information.
Yes. And if you have any questions, contact, let me put my information in the chat box. I apologize for that. I get so caught up in the webinar that I forget to put my information in the chat box, but contact, if you have any questions, we are here for you. Carolina is here for you. We have many team members here for you. So reach out. If you can't reach me, you can reach Carolina. If you can't reach Carolina, you can reach anyone else within Union Bank, the Hawthorne office, the Crenshaw office, just throwing it out there. And yeah, so Vernell.Taylor@unionbank.com, you can reach me.
I put mine on the chat as well, Carolina.Gomez@unionbank.com.
Okay. If we have any more questions, I appreciate you taking the time out. Remember to go on www.la.chamber.com and visit. We have a lot of information that's going on. This is Financial Literacy Month. We have 2 more sessions of our presentations. The next thing we'll probably be talking about credit, and that's a huge subject right now. So if you have any questions or anything, that's the opportunity to ask then. So we really appreciate you coming out and joining, and we see you next time.
Vernell, I do have one question.
Yes.
Are you guys back at, I know that you're still at the Crenshaw High branch. And are you back into the, back into the school presentations at all?
Yes, actually, Carolina, would you want to share about some of the presentations that are coming up right now at Crenshaw High School?
Yeah, so on this Saturday, we actually have in person, and it's kind of hybrid. They're going to do hybrid, so it'll be online and in person. We're presenting Introduction to Banking and Savings. It's going to be a combined module. Then the following 2 weeks on Fridays and in the evening, we're going to be also presenting to parents and students regarding budgeting and college readiness. And then the following Friday after that, we will be presenting credit and protecting identity, which are the modules that we're going to be presenting here as well. But yeah, we have a few, and our students are actually getting ready also to do budgeting and promoting the internship program.
Awesome. Now, are those normally in the evening, or are they doing the daytime?
So the ones that were the one on Saturday is going to be during the morning. So that's going to be between 10 a.m. and 12. But the Friday is going to be in the evening between 7 and 8.
Okay, great. I have your information and I'll be contacting you.
Okay.
I am alumni of Crenshaw High.
Oh, beautiful.
And yeah, I had used to work with Vernell there. So I will be contacting you about, some of the things that you guys are doing at the school.
Awesome. All right, Opa, I'll wait for your email.